So we're talking about the Boeing. So resistance would have been right where you're at right now. So you see, as we started to push through, if you go to the right, where that doji is, keep coming over and then go up, right? Yes, right there where that doji is to the left. Look where the
Right,
doji is.
right
Back to the
here.
left. The one that looks like a doji. Back to the left. Two more. Back to the right. Just the two long green candles that you were just at, right?
Right
Yeah,
here.
one back and one more back. Right where the doji is, right there. The next one to the left. Where the
Right
long
here.
wick is and the skinny body.
Oh, right here.
Back, no, back to the left. Right there, right there. That doji.
Oh, right here.
Go down where the doji is. To the left.
Oh, right
Yes,
here.
yes, right there. That
Okay,
doji.
sorry.
That's okay. So you see how that volume came in? Just look down below. Look at that
Yes,
volume spike.
it definitely spiked.
Yeah, so it was like, oh, what are we doing? And then the very next week, because we're looking at weekly, volume was still high. We powered through it with
Yeah.
two long green candles. And then we just kind of skirted up with that upward trend line. And then we got the big long green candle upward, yeah, right there. And then
Okay.
what do? We consolidated. We kicked out for weeks, kind of in a channel, right? You can see the top part of it where you have it. Yep. And the bottom part down there. Yep. Yes. So then when we finally broke through resistance, yes, right there, that top side, we kind of came back, touched it. We really didn't go through it, but then that big one to
Touched
the
it.
right, to the foot, yes, that one, we powered through it. Look at the volume down below.
Oh,
Below
it
it, yeah,
is
volume, we
definitely,
powered
yes.
through it. If you slide
Hmm.
it over to the right a little bit where that big, to be right over it, that green, yes, right there. And then, we rolled over back to what was resistance is now support, but we went through it. So come on down. Yep, come on down a little further. Right about there probably was roughly support. We didn't hold it. Big long red candle down. The next one, and we went down, 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 down. And what do we get at the very bottom
An
of that green
engulfing,
one? A doji that
a
keep going.
doji. Okay.
Right there, a doji. Long wick, skinny body, longer wick. It stopped at the bottom of a downtrend. We got a doji, but we also, the very next week, we got a bullish engulfing right there. And then we got a hammer and we sprinted right back up and took out the high back in July. And
Mm.
then what do we get to the right? A couple of dojis, long wick, skinny body. The next one to the right's another doji. And then what do we do? Down goes Frazier. Then we went back down all the way to where we thought we would find support right there.
Yes.
Exactly. Where the W was to your left, where the doji is in October to the left. And then we would have found some general support in there. So a doji again, all the way to the far right, a near doji in April. And then we
Okay.
got a bullish engulfing again, to the very last candle to the right. So as you're looking at some of this stuff, you're like, I do see what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Looking
This
at it.
is
And we've got to get to the point where you just look at it and you're like, okay, let me be the share person.
okay.
Let me see here. Stop.
But
Yeah.
I did okay.
You did. You did. So let's see here.
It's
We'll
kind of
stop.
fun.
Yes. Do you want to continue with this? Yes, I do want to continue. Okay, so share. I'm sharing. So we've got Boeing
Okay.
weekly. That was a 3-year weekly. I think you had a weekly. Yep. Okay, clear this out. Clear drawing set. Yes, I do want to clear it out. If I wanted to move, if I if I wanted to remove just one line, so I left click it and then I left click it again to draw my line. So left click and then left click it to put it there. But if I want to remove the line, I right click it and I go to remove
Remove drawing.
drawing. So, or I could say clear drawing set, but if I only wanted to remove that one drawing, then it's just remove drawing. So in
Okay.
this case, I'll just clear drawing set. So
Okay.
what we were looking at, the downtrend initially, which was, you had it right kind of in here,
Yeah.
following it down, like this area, I could make it higher. This area, and just kind of stay with what we were looking at, because we tried to get through this downtrend here, but then now what was resistance is support. It kind of hugged it, started to push through it. So we are probably closing above, you know, the 5% above this downtrend line. And then we punctured back through what would have been support. And then we kicked out, and then we finally kind of went up. But you could see, as we talked about, channeling or the trend ranging.
How long did we channel for? Like, how was it, several weeks or?
Yeah, this was several weeks. So we channeled in here. You can see my screen, yes?
Yes. It's
Okay.
just,
We channeled in here for weeks in here. And then we broke through support, and down goes Frazier. And then what was support becomes resistance, because now once we went through it, we're hitting our head right there. Can't get through it. Last call for alcohol. We're going down. Zoop, like a roller coaster. Bottom. W, bottom again. So we double bottomed right here. Right? Bottom area, bottom area.
yeah.
W. Resistance is now here, where the middle of my W is. And we're just reviewing. We powered through here with a nice long green candle. We started working our way up with an uptrend here. Started channeling again here.
But it took off there. It took off.
It sure did eventually, right? We channeled here for weeks again. Took off right here. What was resistance for weeks now becomes support if it holds. It did not.
Right.
And then it went through this area too. Like, great, we're going through both of them. And then the next spot where I would logically think it might find support is the extension of this W right here. Guess where it found support? Right there. And then it bounced off that, went up, came back down. We're going to repeat the process. Now we've got a double bottom here and here. Now we have a bottom here in this general area where it got a bit extended from this bottom area, but still this line right here is where we pretty much stopped. And so it stopped a little hard here. We're like, whoa, we're going too far with the doji. And then we had a nice bullish engulfing again. So then, you know, of course, the downtrend looked a bit like this coming down. Downtrend that was hard, but a kick out, but it was very pronounced right here. Coming down fast, kick out more gradually down, bottom, bottom, and then up. So if I'm looking to buy Boeing, it's probably a pretty good time to buy it right here. Support.
I'm sorry, I didn't see where you were showing. Right there?
Yeah, support right here. We hit it. Last time we were here, we ran from this area of about 180 to 267, which is a healthy amount of money on your money, 50%. But you had to wait 3, 6, 8 weeks to get it.
Okay.
And can you wait 2 months to get 50%?
Well, when you think about it, it's still
It's a great return.
Yeah.
I'll take it. When we came back down here and we bottomed, and if I can get 50% of my money and it goes back up here, because this is probably where they're going to look to sell it. Because the last time we were up here, it stopped. Guess where else this coincides with? Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Here and here. Same general area. And so now we're in here, probably a low risk entry from here.
Yeah.
And I probably have an opportunity to make some decent money on my money buying it here. In fact, I might put it on my list for tomorrow.
I like Boeing, even though they've had a lot of problems now.
That is why
They're
we
not
have
going
this
anywhere.
crazy moves. Boeing is giving you, with all of their nonsense and mishaps, opportunities to buy it and make money when it falls. So like Boeing, if we looked at, does that all make sense?
Yes.
The flow of the charts and the patterns. So Tesla, another one. Talked to somebody the other day. I said, yeah, great buying opportunity right in here. And for really good reasons. Let's see here. Clear drawing.
I haven't really followed Tesla. I've just been hearing a lot of the rumblings about
Mhm.
the different crazy things happening with the company.
Right?
Um, what do you normally think about that? I mean, I know they have shareholders and all the things, right?
Hmm.
I guess for me, because I've heard so many problems with their products, I mean, do you think it's a company that's going to be around for the long haul?
Yeah, they'll fix it. He's a smart man. And they've lowered some prices the other day. My
Okay.
neighbor, I can see his car almost from here. He just bought a brand new Tesla. And we were
People
over
are
his
still
house.
buying it, I guess.
Yeah, he was over his house last night, and my wife had said something to him. We had a little birthday party thing, and he said, "No, I just bought a Tesla," because we were trying to figure out what the permit thing was in his window, because they were putting in an electrical charger in his garage for the
Yeah.
car. And then he opened the garage, and I'm like, "Oh, it's pretty sweet." Um, but yeah, so people are certainly still buying. They have a brand that people like, and so people will keep buying. If we look at some of the trend lines, they certainly look like so. Uptrend that stayed intact, more pronounced. Remember, we can draw more than one line. And you can see how, there's an uptrend here, right? And then we pulled back, an uptrend,
Yes.
channeled, an uptrend, rounding top a bit down to support this initial support. Because I got here, 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 and we kind of hung out here. So we didn't go through it, but then we went through it, and then when's the next place I'd find support? The wider trend coming up here. And guess where it stopped? So I drew these two lines. I could extend it out and see what I would do. I would go to drawing tools and go
Yeah.
to this little hand. So if I want to move something to the left, I can move it.
Okay.
So someone's getting told on. I can hear my daughter saying Kennedy was looking at something she wasn't supposed to be looking at. Um, so if this were the right-hand side of the screen and you couldn't see nothing here because there wasn't anything to the right, we would just slide this over so I can extend my lines out. And so as this thing builds, I already know I have this line extended out. So say we were in here with these two lines, but I slid it halfway to the left. So all of this was empty and the trading was unfolding from here over. I already have this line that was extended out. And what I would mean by that, so like say this was the uptrend from here to here. We'll just use this as an example. It's really not a good uptrend. But and I can't see what's going on here because nothing's going on past this week. So
Right.
again, just to beat the dead horse, I would slide this out and leave it there. So as trading unfolds, I know this is my uptrend line if it were more pronounced like this one. So when all of this was happening in here, I had these two lines that I could see going. So when we got to this line, I was like, yeah, this is probably the area it's going to hold. And guess what? That's the area it held from this uptrend right in here. And I just extended the line out and guess where it stopped? Right in here. It works like magic. And it goes up.
It went up.
And then we broke through this uptrend line here, which was already broken once here, right? But just in case it was going to stop, but we knew that's probably not going to stop there because it already broke through once, and this would have been resistance, broke through that, would have been support, went through it, hit our head, and then so this is kind of not as reliable. But this main one here, it's held serve to here, and then we went through it, and this would have acted as a bit of resistance here, and then we powered through that. But then we had this overhead downtrend thing going on, and guess where it stopped? Because if I could extend my line out, and sure enough, it stopped right in there, and then it rolled over. But this time, it went through this line that it has held for a long time, since 2020 to really here, February of 2021, and then we still kind of just about held it. Then we went through it. So now we have this competing trend, this downtrend that it's in. And so when we broke through these two uptrend lines, guess where we're hitting our head? This overhead downtrend, this overhead resistance. And sure enough, we hit our head there. So now we've got points, 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 bunch of points. This is a very firm downtrend we've got going on. So we came on down and we're really oversold. We're down to where we were back in here. This was a screaming buy at about 105 in here. And so again, we've gone through this before. We made our way back up, and are we gonna hit our head again on this line?
When,
Well,
what year was this? Oh, this is not like, these are past years.
yeah, these are past
Okay,
weeks.
yeah, just trying, okay.
Going all the way back to May of 2020. So when you're looking at it, like if you were at an art museum and the person said, Sharonda, what do you see in this picture? Well, I see the beauty of blah, 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 and I love the clouds, and what is the painting telling you?
Mhm.
That's what you're looking at. You're like, what is this telling me?
Okay.
What it's telling me is this, downtrend, resistance. We broke through it. Now what was resistance typically is support. But we stayed away from the line a good bit, but we started yet another downtrend. I'm like, how many downtrends is this stupid thing going to be in? But companies are always in uptrends and downtrends and channeling. So it's a bit like that right there. This point, this point, this point, down, this point, down, down. And so guess where it started to hit its head again? It never made it to 205 yet, but this last week, I think we hit 198, if I remember. Yeah, 198.87 was the high. And so this wider downtrend, Sharonda, then we have the downtrend that's a little quicker, right? This one in here. And so you see this downtrend, we get a bullish engulfing. Let me make this bigger. This candle is engulfing
Okay.
all of this candle.
Yeah.
So this was when we hit this bottom and you get a bullish engulfing at the bottom, it's a more reliable signal that this downtrend is going to change. So then what did we get last week? We got a gap in here. So we gapped up and then we ran up to almost 200 and then we pulled back.
Okay.
So the opportunity to buy is probably right in here.
Okay. Basically right now.
Yeah, because we channeled and then we went down, bullish engulfing, gap up, came back. Last call for alcohol. We're retouching this area in here, 178 to 181. So, and then, so here's what you would say here now. Well, if I buy it at 181, where would it possibly stop, Sharonda? Looking at this picture, where is it going to hit its head possibly?
Like right around, God, I don't know what this number is.
Right around here. Because this is a weekly look, right? This is a weekly candle. So we get in the next week, the candle will be right here. So if it powers up.
That says 180. I was looking at the number. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. This downtrend line, the bigger one, right in here. 207-ish, right in here, right?
Okay.
So now you have to ask yourself, well, if this major downtrend line holds, my upside potential is from about 181 to 207, somewhere in there. You're like, is it worth me buying now if I know I'm going to hit my head? It's $19 up plus 7 is $26. If I can get the full extension divided by 181 where I bought it, that's 14% of my money.
So let's say, I don't know, I spent, I don't know, $3,000. So you're saying take was it 181?
Divided by, say $3,000 divided by 181.
Okay, 3,000 divided by 181. 1657.
Yep. So let's just say you bought 17 shares.
Okay, so 1657.
You won't be able to buy a fractional share.
Oh, okay. Times how many shares?
Yeah, just say you bought 17 shares times 181. So you spent 3,077.
Oh, I see what you mean. 3077. Okay.
Yeah. But you got to spend $7 to buy it, so your cost,
Oh, subtract the $7 out because they charge you for the contract,
no,
right?
add $7 because you're going to spend $7 more to buy it. So we're just going to round everything off. We're going to say you bought
Okay.
17 shares
Okay.
at $181, and you also have to pay a $7 cost. So you
Is
spent
that per share or just,
just total for the transaction.
oh, plus $7?
Yep. So you spend 30.84.
84. Okay.
And if it goes to say 207, you're take 17 shares times 207.
Times 207. Uh-huh.
My new balance is 35.19
Uh-huh.
minus $7 to sell it.
That's 35.12.
35.12 minus what it cost you to buy it.
I think it was 3,000.
3,084.
84.
Right? So
Three-
my
3084.
yep. So
So
my
my profit 428.
428 divided by what you spent on it, 3084.
What is that? So I have 428. What do I do now?
Divide that by 3084.
3084.
Uh-huh.
That's I'm not really great with this. 0.138.
Yes. 13%.
13. Okay.
Almost 14%.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty good.
14% on your money, say you get that next week. So, and say you do that every week. That will get you,
Let's say I did that every week. Let's just say what was it, 487?
yeah, but don't do it from the 487 because you're growing your balance. Do it
Oh.
from 3084. Just roughly
3084.
times 114%.
114%. Okay. You're so good with these calculations. I'm really not that great.
It's okay. You'll get there. What is it?
I don't know if it's right. 3515.
Right. Remember that was what we just talked about. 35.
Oh.
You know, we did the other number was what is 35.19. But because it just depends on whether we're adding in the $7 to subtract.
Right.
So we're just gonna say 35, 35.15, 35.16.
Yeah.
But if I did that the following week times 114%. 35, go ahead and do it. 35.16 times 114%.
3516 times how much?
114%.
It says $4,008.24.
So your balance went from, you spent $33,084, and if you did it 2 weeks in a row, earning 14%, your balance is now just over $4,000. And if you did it again the following week, 114%, it's now 45.69. You did it the next week, 114%, it's 52.08. And that's how your money just keeps growing. I wasn't taking any money out. I just keep making money on my money.
So, okay, now my question is, let's say when you make the money, let's say you make the $487 the first time.
Right.
You just take 487 out.
No, I sold the whole thing.
Oh,
and then my new balance is blank.
So, okay, you sold all your positions.
Mm-hmm.
And then you reinvested again.
Yes. And made 14% on whatever it was. I made 14% on that money for the week.
Oh.
Maybe it was 2 stocks that I was in, but on average, I made 14%. And then I did it again the next week, and the next week, and the next week. And that's when you look at that chart that I showed you of one of my personal accounts, you'll see the numbers it's like it's shaking like a heart thing, and then jumping and pulling back for a second, regrouping, and then jumping and because you're just making money on your money. But it
this is where yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you may have 10 stocks, you may have 5 stocks, you may have 20 stocks, but if you can average 10% on your money, you might make 50% this week and on this stock and only 12% on this stock and lose 15% on this stock. But on average, if you can make 10% on your money every week and grow your balance, just keep growing the money, you're not worried about You're not worried about getting the money, not that you are, at least in the short term. You're worried about growing the money.
Okay, I think my confusion, this is where my ignorance comes in, because I thought that when you made the money, you just take it all. You only take what you profited and then you leave. Okay, good. I can be a little confused here.
No, so what happened, I may not sell out of all of my positions. I'm just trying to keep it simplistic.
Oh,
Just however it grows, I might have 5 stocks that I came out of, but I have these 5 stocks that are still working. And then I added 5 more stocks and I came out of these 5 stocks, and then these are still working. And then I added 5 more. You know, the money is just flowing. I'm
yeah.
taking money away and I'm buying more shares of something else, and I'm building my account. I'm growing my account. And if I'm really good and focused at growing the money and focused on this stuff that I'm showing you, the trade, the money will follow you. And it's easier for you to see, I think, even if I've told you and you obviously believed me to a healthy amount that you said, I'm going to invest money with him. But I think, you know, even showing you the money, like, show me the money. You're like, holy Toledo, I see his money, some of his money. I see what he did there.
Right.
And all I'm doing is, hey, my goal on a notebook, and I spell out the whole year. If I'm starting with 5 grand, I just want to make it to 5,500 by the end of the week.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
Small gains.
That's all I want to do. I'm just trying to methodically get rich.
Right. It's not an overnight. I'm not looking at, oh, I'm looking for this big win. I invested 5 and now all of a sudden I've got $25,000. That's
If
not,
you get it, that's
I mean,
all the
it's
easier.
good, but
If you don't get it, your goal is to methodically be
protect the
successful.
money, the original investment, grow the money.
That's all you want to do.
10% minimum.
Just, but when you're new, it will be certainly more challenging.
Yes.
But the quicker you learn how to make money and protect money, like this setup here, Tesla's probably at a good buy point. Boeing's at a good buy point.
Mhm.
If you said, okay, Monday morning, I've got $5,000 sitting in my account, I might do
2,000 for
Yeah, I might do
Tesla, maybe.
25 and 2,500, and I might
Okay.
say, okay, I'm gonna spend $1,000 on the first purchase, and if it pulls back into here anywhere or in the 170s, I'm gonna give it $1,500 more dollars. Now
Okay.
I've got $2,500 in Tesla, and the same thing with Boeing. As soon as that daggone market opens, I'm giving it $1,000. And then if it pulls back, I'm gonna give it 15 more hundred. Now I've got 25 in each of those. And then throughout the week, if I get 7% of my money, you know, on the $5,000, what's 7% of 5,000? I'm gonna make sure you get really good at math. No, don't tell me the exercise.
350.
Yes, but I want you to do it in your head, because
Oh, well,
so if I said, I did this exercise with a girl the other day. If I said, what's 8% on 5 grand? You would just tell me 8 times 5 is 40, so it's $400.
oh, okay. That's how you do it. I don't.
Yes. So Sharonda, what's 7% on $3,000?
21.
Which is what?
21.
What?
Say it again. 7% on
3 grand. So you think it can't be $21. We're missing
no. Is
a
it
zero, right?
21 is $210.
Yes. So it took this
I gotta
other
get used
person.
to that.
It took him a
I
minute.
used to be good with percentages, and
Right?
then you know.
So if you're just good with math, your basic multiplication, all of this is just an extension of that. If you say,
Okay.
what's 50% on $9,000? It's $4,500. You know, it just you get the numbers have got to be just
Okay.
that stuff is just got to be simple and solid in your brain when you're looking to do something. If you didn't have it solid in your brain, your phone's going to tell you anyway. You can see what percentage you're up. You're going to see how much money you're up. So if it wasn't solid in your brain, it really wouldn't matter. But I think it benefits you to have those things in your brain very very simply, like, because it's
Yeah, I like the
just,
simplistic portion of it. I like the way
yes.
you break it down.
So anyway, so if you made 7% on $5,000, which is what?
$210.
7% on $5,000?
Oh, 715.
No,
Wait, you said 7%.
on 5,000.
You said, didn't you say multiply 7 times 5?
Yeah,
So it's 35.
with a zero.
So 350.
Yeah. What?
What? I'm sorry.
That's all right. We're gonna get you.
I feel
So
like I'm
what's
back in basic math.
right? Yeah. Hey, you say, well, when
Some
will I
people
ever
can't
use
do
this?
that now,
You're gonna
Eugene.
use it. So what's 8% on $3,000?
24, 240.
Yes. What's 6% on $2,000?
120.
Yes. So yes. So that short
Stop.
that shortcut. We
We're
need to
taking it back to the real fundamentals.
yes, because you
That's
got to
okay.
be
I need
there.
this. I
Yes.
like when you do this too.
Good. So if you made 7% on $5,000, which is what?
350.
Yes. So you made 350. So now your 5,000 is 5,350. And you
Yeah.
said, you know what? It's been a successful week. Maybe I didn't get to 10%, but I got 7%. And now
Yes.
I'm going to be looking again for the stocks that I'm looking for where I can feel like this is a pretty good setup. And if
I
I'm
have a question.
unsure, I can always be like, hey, Eugene, what do you think about this stock?
Okay. So
And
let's
I'll be
say I
like,
made that 7%, right? And I sold it,
yeah. So you just exited all of the positions.
exited all of it. I sold all of my positions. What am I doing? I'm holding my money in my brokerage account for
Sure.
right
It just moves
until
back in.
another entry.
Yes, until another entry, but you don't have to sell it all because maybe your balance was just 7% higher. Now it's 5,350. But we get into next week and we surge even more. Now we were up another 10%. Now we're up 17% on our money. Then maybe you sell it because we're looking for where would we sell it at. So if this is the week here and you bought it at 181, and 181 times 107% is 193.67. That's right in here, right? 193 roughly in here. But maybe the week ended right there, but technically everything looked good and buying was great. And it closed, say, at the top of its range, like here, but it was
Yeah.
right here. You're like, you know what? I think I'm going to hold this another week because I
Yeah.
think we're going to power a little higher. And then we power a little higher. Here's where technicals come in. You're like, and you say, Eugene, what do you think about Tesla? And I'd say, Sharonda, where'd you buy it? I bought it at 181. All right, well, where do you think it might hit its head? Oh, yeah, we're right at a downward trend line. Maybe I should take the profits right in here. And then if you take the money right in here, it doesn't mean that we won't power higher. You can just get right back in the daggone thing, but you're probably gonna have to wait 2 days because you have to let the money settle unless you
Okay.
have other money on the sidelines to say, oh, Tesla got some great news. We're powering higher. I want to jump back in, but I can't use the money that I just took because there's a rule that says T+2, trade day plus 2 more days before I can reuse that money.
Oh,
So
I was trying to ask you about that.
if you sold it on Wednesday, which is the trade day, 2 more days is Thursday, and then Friday I could reuse the money.
Okay. Oh, so there's a rule.
Yes.
So I'm not, so okay, then I have another question about that. Am I allowed as a regular person? I read something where if I did several different types of
Day trades.
day trades, like I would have to, I don't know, like I had to do something. Like
You would have your account temporarily possibly restricted
yes.
to closing transactions only because you did 5-day trades in a whatever period, 3-day period or something. I forget what specifically the amount of days are. And so the goal for you eventually is to get your account over 25,000
Okay.
so that that rule does no longer applies to you.
But I can trade, let's say, once a week though. Safely.
Sure. You could do a couple, 2-3 times a week, as long as within a 5-day rolling period. I believe that's what the rule is. You haven't done 5-day trades.
No.
Where you're in and out of something before the funds have settled.
Oh, okay. I got to get used to that because I knew
Yeah.
it was something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, um, and so this sort of thing we have to keep working through because you have got to, which
I'm,
there's no rush,
yeah,
get
but I
to a
always
point,
want to get some stuff done.
yeah, where we get to, if I say, pull up Spotify, Sharon,
Okay.
and tell me about it. And you tell me, well, Eugene, we're clearly in an uptrend. Yeah, we sure are.
Now we are. Yep.
Yeah, we are. And then it's more exacerbated, if you will, going like this, make this bigger. And you see, we're just kind of, we were up and we've had a couple of points here and we hit this point again in here, which was the trend line. So we hit it. So we kind of established, like here, we were in this little mini uptrend. And then we were in this other uptrend in here, like this. And then we
Yeah.
were in a downtrend. But then once we got a couple of points here and here, I see where my 2 points are. And then guess where we hit it again, right there. So we
Mhm.
had a couple of established points, and then we pulled away from it. We had this little mini uptrend here. You can see all these little mini uptrends and a minor pullback. And then we had this kind of top in here where we topped, came down, top, and then we broke through it. And then what was resistance became support, and we went up, and guess where support was? Right there. We bounced off that. You can kind of see what we're doing. And
Yeah.
so when you couple seeing with indicators, you'll be like, okay, let me find where the spots would be where I would buy it. But I can't see all of it clearly in just one time frame. So I need to be looking at the stock in all time frames because this is
All four time
daily
frames.
and this is the hourly. And when I pull up a four screen and I'm looking at Spotify, say on the weekly, the daily, the hourly, and then maybe the 30-minute chart. And then I'm like, huh, I see where my entry points are. And then if I really wasn't sure, I could always go to bar chart, type in bar chart and figure out what bar chart is saying, where resistance and support is. And then I can put all of it together rather quickly. And I check the news on the fundamental side and see really what's going on and think through it. And all of it happens really fast when you
Yeah.
get really used to stuff. The same way it happens in your business.
Yeah.
I could come in, I'm like, Sharonda, what are we talking about? Here's what we're doing, Eugene. And we do this and this and this. And it's just, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to sign them up for this contract and they're going to sign right here. And I'm going to tell them about this law and this regulation. And I'm going to get them here. And, just because you're just used to it.
Yeah. And then it's interesting you have the analogy about my job. And sometimes we're like, right now we're a little bit on a downtrend,
Mhm.
but I see where the setup is coming, where I feel like we're getting ready to be up on an uptick. I
Okay.
can see some things like that are setting up for a possible uptick.
In just flow of business or what?
Flow of business.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to use these same analogies that you're using when you're talking about my business and kind of looking at this as well. So
Mhm. If your business was a stock, and you
yes.
would say, okay, yeah, where are we about ready to break out? Yeah, when we get to summer season, a lot more people are struggling with breathing and they're
Yep.
old and
We have more people admitted to hospitals, yeah.
something happens, they fall and they're
Yep.
falling out. Hey, we need to put mom in an assisted living place and blah. Who knows? Whatever the trends are in your business, when you identify those and you know how it all works in your business, you're like, huh, here's what I need to do in this season to prepare myself for this season, whatever that looks like for you. But it's no
Okay.
different in stocks, with news and how news may affect the stock and how it's trading and the indicators and all this other stuff. Like, here's what I need to do. And then when you just get good at the process of understanding what you're looking at and then making a very calculated risk reward sort of decision. And then how will I enter this particular investment? And I look at my portfolio and say, I have 20 grand. How much money am I going to commit to this particular stock versus these other stocks?
Yeah.
Because maybe I like this opportunity a whole lot with Boeing. And Spotify's is kind of decent, but I'm going to give Boeing 5 grand. I'm going to give Spotify 3 grand. I'm going to give Tesla 2 grand. I'm going to give IGPK 1,000 because it's very risky. But I like the chicken paw stock for the long term. I'm going to give those guys 5 grand. I'm just going to hold on to it until the cows come up. And then you grow this portfolio. You're starting to rotate money in and out of stocks that you're going to kind of rotate money out of. And the chicken paw thing is just going to sit there. And then I just keep growing my balance. But then it can have ebbs and flows, just like I showed you. Can you see my screen still or no?
Yes.
What is this thing? Oh, I haven't been on for a while. Cancel. The ebbs and flow. You can still see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, the ebbs and flows. And then maybe I was in Boeing here, and then Boeing had some problems, some other stocks had some problems, and then some of the things I was in, and they had a bit of a pullback, and then I re-entered some other stuff, and then I kind of got my portfolio a bit more situated, and then we powered through. I was in the right names and the right stocks, and I feel good. And my thought process with where I need to be with things. Maybe they legalized marijuana and I bought a bunch of marijuana stocks and we powered over to 700 and some odd thousand. And then I got out of some of those because they were overdone. And so it's the ebb and the flow, and with your portfolio, and then you kind of get it right, and then you power higher and you just keep going.
Yeah, makes sense. I think for me, like you said, but you did say something before about these larger stocks. You said these were like dinosaurs, kind of like they're predictable, right?
They're easier to trade.
But they are easier to trade. But what I realize is they're a little bit more money to get into as well, right? It's not like the penny stocks where they're pennies, right?
No, but here's what you have to remember, and I'm gonna cut you off.
Okay.
Percentages are still percentages.
Okay.
So if a stock, say it's $200 and you have $1,000 divided by the $200 that you spent, you buy 5 shares. Well, if I make 10% on 2,000, it's $200. If I take $2,000 and I buy something that's only $10 versus $200, all right, I buy 200 shares versus 5 shares of Tesla. Well, if I still earn 10% of my money, it's still the same amount of money.
That's true. Yeah. What? 10%. It's so funny. I didn't think of that. And this is where you come in, because you're like, okay, well, let me talk about the math, how it really still makes sense.
Yeah. So don't worry about the number. And my only reason sometimes for being in things that are more difficult, for one, it's probably more of an adrenaline rush.
Okay.
And there's probably a riskier gambling side-ish to my personality. I like to get in there and I will beat you. I will understand you no matter how you're manipulating it. I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to make a bunch of money on it.
Right.
But then the making money slower scenario with like the Teslas of the world, there's nothing wrong with that. Because at the end of the day, my goal is only to make 10% a week. So what does it really matter if I do Boeings of the world or I do the craziness of the world? Because the craziness of the world will drop you down.
Yeah.
It'll do like this in a hurry, like, because if you're right most of the time and you're making decent money, but then if you're wrong and you don't protect the money, which I never protect the money, and it drops down, then that's a bit of a problem. Then I got to battle my way back for the money I lost here, but I made money over here, and it's all over the place. It's crazy. But if I just wanted to be like, I'm going to watch the paint dry and I'm going to buy Tesla when it hits this number.
Right.
Then I could, but
a couple months.
At the end of the day, as long as you're going like this, moving the balance higher, that's all you want.
All that matters.
You don't have to have all the drama in trading. It could just be very methodical while you're learning. So if you said, Eugene, I have 5 grand sitting there, I'd say, good, go buy Boeing and Tesla on Monday and let it do what it's going to do.
Dry, but put your alerts in.
Yes.
Right.
Watch the paint dry. It's not going anywhere. Boeing's going to go up. They're the #1 player in the space for making jets that don't work, with doors falling off, right?
That's scary, but
right. It's terrible, right?
But they're not going away.
No, neither is Tesla. They're not going away. They're the #1 player in the space for electric vehicles.
Okay. You put some stuff in perspective for me now, because I was thinking, oh, it had to be like penny stocks and all those things. It doesn't necessarily have to be that.
No, and again, like I've told you, and I'll tell you again, I said in a perfect world where you should be is have the majority of your money in bigger cap names.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. That
it's
makes sense
safer while you
it's
are
safer.
learning. And
Yeah.
but if you had the time to commit to the fight, to the like, this is gonna be a bloody knuckle fight,
Yeah.
you buying
We
these.
can go ahead and go through this right here, right? But
Right.
again, because I don't have all of that type of time right now,
Mhm.
I think, well, I like both, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, just
We just got to, and so the reason why I'm sending you the message, like, look, it's a reminder that
yes,
IGPK is a risk.
yes,
And I'm taking some of the money off the table, but I still have a healthy amount of money to the
yeah,
tune of probably
yeah,
like 10 grand in the stupid thing.
yeah,
But if it does not work out, I better be quick to exit. So
yes,
I only lose hopefully 2 grand or something on the trade and get out of it.
yeah,
But if it hits, they come through with the filings, I might make 100 grand like that. 10
yeah.
grand and 10
Gamble.
times the money, and then that's a new pool out back.
Yeah.
Almost.
You guys need a new pool too.
We don't have one. We don't have one. But the girls were like, we want a pool. So and so has a
But
pool.
daddy's got to get out, get it, make some money.
I know, right?
You got a lot
Yeah,
of pressure on you, Eugene.
I'm
I
telling you.
think this was a good session. You actually like lit a fire under me a little bit more. And I know I've been kind of dragging a little bit, but I feel like I'm getting re-energized. So I'm definitely going to be looking at a few things this week.
Okay.
I'll look at IGPK, whatever. I
Listen,
have a position in there. I'm just
make
looking
sure
at.
you have an alert in.
Yeah,
Because if this stock breaks down, it'll be down goes Frazier.
yeah.
Let's take a quick look at it. Lots of lines. We were up. They pulled the rug with that 1 for 1,000
Mhm.
reverse split announcement, which seemed criminal to me. I don't even know if that's a real thing. And then like we were going up, then we had this downtrend. We went through this, so I won't be long. Downtrend. Then we went up. They pulled the rug out from under us, which was brutal. You know, if you didn't sell up here, and then we climbed our way back and we got through this high and this high. And then here's where we hit it again. Look here. 1, 2, 3, right across.
Yeah.
And then we powered through that. I'm like, yes, we're cooking with oil. We're doing good. And then they rug pulled it all the way down to
Mm,
support. And then they
gotcha.
took it through support. You're like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? And now we did a curl in here where you see we were lower, lower, then we stopped and we're curling back up. So what we need to do, we need to get through this
Okay.
area right there, these two curl
Yeah.
back up. We're putting in a higher low here the last 2 days. Tomorrow, we've got to go up. If we even hint at trying to break through this double bottom here, if we print 8-9, you need to get out. That's all I can tell
You
you.
said 8.
If we print 8-9, and so my stop, here's what they're doing. Here's what they're doing. Stop losses. You see how they're taking it down, but they're closing it high.
Yeah.
They took it down, but they closed it high. They closed it higher. This close here was, yeah, 11.2. So they're dropping it down to get your stop losses because you're like, hey, if this thing hits 9, I'm going to automatically sell. They see that on the screen. They're like, oh, Sharonda and all these other people have a stop loss at 9. So they bring the stock down, they buy your shares, they stop you out, and they take it right back up. That's why I don't do stop losses, because it gets on my nerves. And so they did that again, but they held it up with this double bottom. But it's still not closing higher than the previous day or the previous day, because this close is 12.2, this close is 11.2, this close is 101, but finally this close is 10.3. We need to go this direction tomorrow and Tuesday. We need to
Yeah.
hold here and Tuesday. we better start finding our way back up. They need to put this filing out, their annual and their quarterly. And if we do that, I believe we're going to power a lot higher if what they say is true with the numbers.
Okay.
This is a legit company, and we're just waiting. So this
Okay.
look on the weekly, you see, you know, we were up, we were down, and this sort of strength coming back up, you know, is strong. This look.
What time's the market open again? Is it 8?
Nope, the market opens at 9:30,
9:30. Okay.
but pre-market opens at 7 a.m. But you can't trade this in pre-market, but you can trade the big names in pre-market.
Okay.
So
Okay.
in case you wanted to buy Boeing and Tesla,
Pre-market.
7 a.m. You could put an order in right now for tomorrow,
Okay.
if that's what you wanted to do.
Right.
So, and so you don't have to wait until tomorrow. You can put the order in right now. It'll execute tomorrow. That way you manage through your day, manage through your activities, because you know you got to get up, you got to do your hair, you got to do your thing, you get out the door.
Right.
Your orders are already in tonight, and they'll execute and they'll alert you, hey, you bought this many shares of Tesla and this many shares of Boeing. And then if you back those orders up in case they drop a little bit lower, you bought them again. You're like, okay, now I got a position in Boeing and a position in Tesla. That would be the way I would tell you to go. But my goal is to, again, and we're going to get off, is to help you learn it, but help you make money along the way.
Yeah.
So
I need
that
to
we
make money.
can, you know, if I can teach you how to make a whole lot of money, you were like, man, that was the best $3,000 I ever spent, you know, my entire life. You'll be like, why'd you say that? Because the skills that I have learned have made me hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's what I need, Eugene. That's exactly what I need.
Yeah.
Period.
And if anybody tells you any different, you tell them, hey, look here, believe what you want, because I've seen his account. Yeah, it was a fake account. Whatever. It's just,
Yeah. Okay.
people don't believe nothing you tell them.
They really don't.
They don't. That's why I was like, you know what? Because people usually don't show you their accounts, and there's no reason for me to show you my account. You either believe me or you don't. And then you got, sometimes you listen to people and you're like, you know what? He sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then now that I really see his account, geez, he knows what he's talking about.
Right. Right.
That's what I want for you, that you don't have, no one has to be the smartest person in the world. If whatever skill set you learn, you're like, I understand how to move money.
And that's really what I really want, you know. I mean, I want to be in the position where I can say, hey, Eugene, guess what? Get ready to buy my house.
I'll be like, yeah.
Because of all the gains and the education that I've learned. So
that'll be a beautiful thing.
It'll be a beautiful thing. Yeah, this was a really good session. Thank you so much. If you hear anything during the week,